re batla a different kind of accountability. JusticeForCwecwe is the recent of hundreds of thousands of cases.
Yeah.
This is how we must look at it.
Yeah.
You know, as you mentioned, it is a completely sensitive matter. 100% agreeing on that. Everyone who's listening will say that themselves. They're probably in traffic now, and they are breathing in and out heavily because the numbers that you mentioned tells them hore they didn't even know enough. If no honali cooperation is sharp from school, these things would have been already. We would not be looking for DNA now. Now this is another thing that tells us hore, you know, the system is failing us. I was reading I don't remember from which publication or they are hands on deck after they were able to secure the DNA sample, or they are hands on. But you are hands on deck now that everyone has gone to the streets. You understand? We are not going to now say to you, or we commend you for that. We are not going to clap hands and celebrate a fish for swimming. You should have swum last year already.
Yeah.
So in terms of AfriForum, I think man, we are quite aware. We are quite aware of their interests. You know who they are aligned with. I mean, it's pretty obvious that if you were to be protected by any legal representative, it won't be far-fetched for it to be AfriForum, because but we are also looking at you and doing an AfriForum. We are not saying and not defend every and everyone, but you must remember the principle from what I had read, the principle the DNA sample, and then through ona makwetha high the lawyers are high through bona ba AfriForum le bona ba no, because motho as a suspect I never yet into it. He had to now be officially labeled a suspect pele. So now we just hope that DNA samples of everyone involved will be looked at with a hawk's eye. A lot has just been sideways about this whole matter.
Eben is not just radio. It is that time right now whereby we are going to be talking to Rabbie. Rabbie, how are you doing, my brother?
Hey, I'm doing well, Mrenaka. Good morning to the Ebenites. Today re tshwaretse di Ebenites taba tse fe wa bona ntwe.
Let me start off with this and just break it down accordingly, so as this is a very sensitive topic. Even the management was like, it's very sensitive that we should touch it with care, you know. But I want to, because I was last night researching like nobody else's business, just looking at the stats. So I just want to read out loud some of the information that I got, then we'll break it down. You'll break it down for us. So the case of Pretoria is highly publicized and disturbing incident of child rape in South Africa. Here's the breakdown of it. Incident October 14, 2024. A 7-year-old girl was allegedly raped at Beckville College in Matatiele, Eastern Cape. The investigation is ongoing, with DNA samples being collected from suspects, including staff members. Public response. The case has been sparked widespread outrage and calls for justice, with a petition which is gaining over 670,000 signatures. Support celebrities, political parties, and citizens have come together to demand justice for Kwekwe, with the hashtag JusticeForCwecwe trading on the social media. Latest development as of April the 1st, 2025, a petition is still active calling for a life sentence for the culprit without parole. Now, going on when it comes to Here's the minor rape statistics. The statistics from Stats SA, actually, from 2015 to 2016 to 2029 to 2020, there was an increase of 6.3% points in reported cases for children under the age of 18. Unresolved cases, according to a study, about 80% of reported rape cases in South Africa do not end in conviction due to insufficient physical evidence or contaminated crime scenes. Okay, that's the stats from Stats SA.
Those numbers, they show us hantle why the country, all of it, was up in arms. Mabane. They tell us that we know how bad it has been for a long time. Those numbers, they tell us that when we are hearing that, it's not even the first time we are hearing hore GBV should be a national crisis. Those numbers tell us what we have been dragging our feet in making such a possibility. Because as you are stating them, Wena Brinsley, as you are stating those numbers, I'm just thinking, to the urbanite who's listening, even the math, if you are trying to add, you can just hear how disturbing this is. You know how disturbing this is, and how it highlights a systematic failure to protect vulnerable children. We are losing. We have lost, really. We have no other option. We have to take our children to school, but we have lost. We have lost the sense of safety, of protection. There's nowhere where our children are safe, Wena Brinsley.
Yeah.
You know, that's what the numbers that you are saying, that's what they are translating into words. And it is a situation of such a traumatic thing, you know, to bring all of us together. I was so inundated mabane ka di videos tse sa feleng from all corners of the country, and when I look at the people who are marching, it's all of us.
Yeah.
Why when I look at it, it is all of us. It means we are all fed up. You know, we are about a different kind of accountability. JusticeForCwecwe is the recent of hundreds of thousands of cases.
Yeah.
This is how we must look at it.
Yeah.
You know, as you mentioned, it is a completely sensitive matter. 100% agreeing on that. Everyone who's listening will say that themselves. They're probably in traffic now, and they are breathing in and out heavily, because the numbers that you mentioned tells them they didn't even know enough. You know.
You know what troubles me, Rabbie? It's South Africans, we are desensitized when it comes to such matters. You know, I've also been, when I was doing my research, just watching other cases. You know, we will rush and talk about this, yes. Then the next thing, it fades out. It's like it's a trending topic and it fades out. We do not linger on it to such an extent that the perpetrators are apprehended and they receive the brunt of the law. You know, it's as if it's another case of hashtag. Then when we are done with it, it moves on to the next. Now there's been some incidents on Facebook. When I was checking, there is a young man, horrendous man actually, by the name of Njabulo. I forgot his surname. Njabulo, who was talking outlandish and sensitive things about that child, you know, And the way that the comments were lambasting him, searching for him, they're saying, how could you say such about Kwekwe, saying that she might have this and that? I do not want to mention this here. You understand?
Yes, yes.
You know, but to such an extent that now there's been more people writing about, now we as men have been going through the most as well, you know? So why aren't we being taken care of? So it's like they're trying to overshadow this whole horrific incident that happened so that it gets pushed away, then another comes in. Now my other problem again is that why would a lobby group which has been spewing so much lies about us come and defend a principle whereby we are not pointing fingers and saying it's you. We're saying the stuff from the gardener to people failing at school, everyone needs to be investigated and needs to submit their DNA.
Yeah.
But now AfriForum comes and lambasted this, and they stand up for him. What's your take on that?
You know, I think on that matter, we understand there's this situation everyone is entitled to legal representation. But what you rightfully mentioned here is, and we first have to look at how long this case is from. October 2024. Kana kwe dintho tse nka be khale di entswe. If no hona le cooperation is sharp from Skolo, these things would have been already, we would not be looking for DNA now. Now this is another thing that tells us you know, the system is failing us. I was reading I don't remember from which publication they are hands on deck after they were able to secure the DNA sample, or they are hands on, but you are hands on deck now that everyone has gone to the streets, you understand. We are not going to now say to you, or we commend you for that. We are not going to clap hands and celebrate a fish for swimming. You should have swum last year already.
Yeah.
So in terms of AfriForum, I think man, we are quite aware. We are quite aware of their interests. You know who they are aligned with. I mean, it's pretty obvious that if he were to be protected by any legal representative, it won't be far fetched for it to be AfriForum, because but we are also looking at you and AfriForum. We are not saying how and not defend every and everyone, but you must remember the principle, from what I had read, the principle the DNA sample, and then through oneafrica the lawyer tsa hae through bona ba AfriForum le bona ba no, because motho a se suspect a never yet into it. He had to now be officially labeled a suspect pele. So now we just hope that DNA samples of everyone involved will be looked at with a hawk's eye. A lot has just been sideways about this whole matter, but I'm just happy to know, man, the country came together. We came together. In fact, I was reading Mona there's a man from Everton, Vanderbilt Park. Okay, no, not that one. That one is not important. I think it's the same thing you touched on earlier. There's another man, Raymond Maidisa, from what I could gather, but he raised about 200,000 to help. I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that, how he did that. There's another lady, because Kwekwe is suffering, not only Kwekwe. because support structure is just as much as important as your healing. You understand? The family is struggling so much. So I'm happy to see what not only did the country show up for family JusticeForCwecwe, even individual people are showing up in their own personal capacity. But these are things that should not be coming from us. Yes, it is commendable. They are.
And there's a channel called World Bug Entertainment, Bug BUG Entertainment on YouTube. That's where Xwecwe's mother explains her daughter's case, and the community is willing to help. So go watch it out. It's a 20-minute video of the mother talking about the whole case, and explaining her side. And one last thing before we leave this topic. Don't you think that teachers all over, female, male, should be vetted? Because I know that teachers actually are supposed to produce I don't know what do they call that thing? What is that thing? That paper, man. What is that thing that checks if you have done any wrong things?
Oh, like a criminal record.
Police clearance, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Police clearance.
Okay.
Yeah, a police clearance for each and every teacher. But shouldn't that happen each and every year now? Because they just produce it once and they check that, okay, your background, okay, you're good. You don't have any incidences that you have done in the past. But shouldn't we be having that each and every year? Because you do not know, Uguchi, what will some of the teachers or anybody who works for a school where we have minors, children, do you understand?
I see.
Would have done or can do. Because those are the people that we entrust with our kids.
This is true. I think the point that you are driving home here, Anna Prinsley, is we need legal accountability in a formal manner. You understand? I feel that's the point that you're driving through, Hore. We need to trust more than their word, the people who we entrust our children with. I truly believe that is the point you're driving home, and I agree with it. It can sound like it would be a tedious thing or every year we're doing, but no, it's not. Mapodi, teacher, they are all government employees. Teacher, they don't even have to take a day off. Mapodi you understand? About logistics setting and so forth. I feel at this point the numbers you've mentioned are so horrible for anybody to hear. Anything that can be done should be done. I agree with that. Onamranaka.
Okay, Dadwaka, thank you for that. Thank you for your input. I hope Ebonite who is listening, we tackled this matter with so much care so that we can inform you and teach you. That was what I was talking to one of our programs managers, saying that I want to tackle it, but I don't want to be talking too much about it, but I want to mention the stats as well, so that the average South African can understand that, wait, 40,000 each and every year, 40,000 cases are reported and not solved. So I hope they listened and they learned from that. So now moving on to the last topic right now, which we still got time, 10 minutes. So the Trump administration, let me talk about this because I know you're going to tackle this like nobody else's business. The Trump administration plans to open a refugee center in Pretoria, South Africa, especially for white people, has raised concern about racial discrimination and unequal treatment. According to the reports, the center is intended to facilitate migration of white South Africans to the United States, citing claims of racial discrimination and violence against them. However, this move has been met with criticism as this appears to prioritize the interest of one racial group over others. The South African government is not publicly endorsing this initiative, and it's unclear what their official stands are on the matter. It's worth noting that Trump's administration immigration policies have been marked by controversy and accusation of racial bias. administration actions have been criticized for undermining the principle of equality and fairness, which has been enshrined in the international law. The plan to open a refugee center inclusively for white South Africans has sparked heated debates about the racism, xenophobia, and politicization of migrants. As the situation unfolds, the essential to the monetization, development, and hold leaders accountable for promoting inclusive and equitable policies. Break it down, Morenaka, because the way you were breaking it down, Mola, I was like, yes, Rabbie is about to break them down.
Why wanna now you're not Taba, Princely. This one, I mean, okay, fortunately we have heard of it before, for by playing who he is. And now since already Trump jalo, rotoba topa maburu amu Africa burabe is the refugee kwa America. But I mention South Africa. This thing about never yet more. And as you have rightfully mentioned, Muso Arona government of South Africa has not said anything about Donald Trump. I mean, they've secured office space in Pretoria, that the office parks that they're turning into another this center. And one thing that we need to look at now, because this changes the whole narrative, because Rona, we assumed from when this notion of Maburu being given the opportunity to go to America as refugees, we thought each and every single one of them who can just say I want to go would go. That's what it sounded like. But really now it's sounding completely different. It's sounding different on Namranaka, because once they start saying they are vetting people, then you must understand, once they are vetting people, then you must understand it's a selection process, man. It's a selection process. I never tope everyone fella or when only buru you've signed up, you go. It does not seem like that. And as depending on how we are familiar with Ntwengana, with how the States does its things, clearly there has to be some sort of value you can give to America for them to consider you. Because then they would not be vetting. They would just say, "Go embassy guys, the list. What are the numbers that we are looking at for people that we should make space for here somewhere?" However, that they're gonna do that, but it's not seeming like that's the case, because now, if the team that exists as we speak now, but they are studying more than 8,200 requests. Right. By they've shown interest in resettling Kwa America. And then another thing that is quite important to this point that we are driving here, they've already identified 100 Yamaburu who could, keywords, they've identified 100 Afrikaners who could be approved for refugee status. Now, 8,200 requests that they are studying. I get it. Of that, 100 have been identified they could be approved. What are the screening process? The screening process is quite intense. You're not going to see an Afrikaner person that you usually see maybe by the side of the road, who actually needs them to take them there to America, because wasokola, if we can put it that way. But I don't think you're going to see that Afrikaner going there, because States, they want you to bring some value.
Oh yeah, that actually they are, I can say, poaching of those highly skilled individuals in our country as the white only, and it's another strategy of taking your highly skilled individuals, taking them to America to go enrich America. Now, for those who are those highly skilled people who are in South Africa, I do not think that they are willing to go to America and for them to be undermined, because the privileges that they have here, if you're a highly skilled individual, white, in this country, you are richer than the middle class black citizen. Do you think they would agree? I understand the number is 8,000, and which is very small, to be honest. Which is very small. We have a whole lot of white people, Afrikaners, whom have refused actually to go. But now, those who are highly skilled, Why would they leave the privileged land and just to go to Trump's place, country, for them to go serve there? Because Trump is just going to be in office for 4 years. He already served a term. Now he's just 4 years. He's done. And if his administration doesn't win, Republicans don't win again, how are those kids going to be treated this time?
The thing here that we are really looking at is that we've seen. In fact, one of these numbers, they keep becoming lower and lower. You might recall a week or two or so ago, the number that they were speaking about, 72,000, if I stand to be corrected, but quite high. Now, as you're saying, clearly with this whole process, they're going to be screening. It means they want the best of the crop. Now, it was worth noting how their own internal politics in terms of dealing this plan to bring in Afrikaners. The cracks are already showing because if you may have been paying attention, people that are already in the process of your seeking refugee status from countless other countries, states, they just made sure they put everyone aside. If you were now as maybe South Africa is a better example, any other country, and you are trying to secure your refugee status. In fact, even the visa, because I've been reading what the Trump administration is doing. They're actually now attacking student visa from other countries. Marco Rubio was on CNN. No, they're causing ruckus. Go to universities. One of the reason if you were asked to can you quantify it, and you are not going to be able to, the cracks it's like they are trying to create a safe haven for white supremacy. I say this because what they are doing, if they are alienating everyone else in terms of refugee statuses, but we must also mention no one is entitled to be a refugee in any country whatsoever. It is a privilege, so we must not act like they owe that to anyone, and then we can move on from it quickly. But what they're trying to do, from the evidence that is coming around, and especially they want to assess if the Afrikaners that they want are the good quality that they want. It clearly means they are trying to build a safe haven, but push white supremacy sharp without interruption by refugees from other countries whom they are now deciding by their side. There's been over about 20. I should have had the stats on my Twengena here, about 20,000 of these people by long order they are actively trying to apply for refugee status and so forth. Put them on the back burner. Focus on Mission South Africa. Even with Mission South Africa, they want a specific part of the crop, not the ones that really need the help. It's not the ones that are here to help. They want those that will help the cooperation that is America. That's what's happening.
Hey, Mranaga, in closing, what do you think our government should approach this manner? Like, if Mark Rubio right now is coming, and he supports Israel, and they are trying to cause some controversy in our country. I'm seeing that, and the way that we've been walking on eggshells, actually, with the Trump administration. How should our government respond to such disrespect? Actually, you are opening refugee offices for a minority group, certain group, which means that you believe the lobby group that came and said that we are causing actually a genocide to farmers. How should our government approach this?
I think I know how they will. I stand to be corrected. We'll give it a few days and see. So far, baita ntwe that many of us are actually going to do is just ignore what's happening kwa. There's a whole mission South Africa, but a lady security guards there because so really many of us don't go Pretoria mobile busy with thing. Many of us we will just pass by more the embassies and so forth in Pretoria there. People people are not even nosy about what's happening inside. Only people that need the information or assistance. So no one is going to really be athletes more. Of course, possibly mainstream media or toilet visuals and whatnot will be there, but it's not going to be into busy. And I think what our government is going to do, but once a statement and a statement is a thing is open-ended, meaning they will be saying bona, this is the situation that is happening, because they'll be pressed to. There'll be enough airtime about this for them to bring out a statement, because Taba it's about 2 days old now, about almost 3, and I haven't seen. Someone else maybe might have, but I have not seen a statement, and I've been looking from our government. What's their take? Because it has taken so long, it will just be a statement who will the process it, because we can't be saying to them no, you can't be doing this in our country, because they are obviously working with the American embassy. You know, the embassy they go through the embassies and so forth. What our government might say is that they have received information from the American embassy so. That way we don't look at our government. That's what I think is gonna happen. What I think should happen is really why stop. That's it. Why wanna to
also me closing there out. America actually, the United States, let me say the elites who are running it, they've been doing outrageous things to the black Americans. That side, we've been seeing cop killings. Each and every year there's cop killings. I think even now there's a cop killing happening. But we as Africans, we haven't tried to start a refugee offices that side to be asking those who want to move to Africa to come. The audacity of these people.
But obviously bona, if you're going to start the first couple of weeks of your administration, the neighbors are how Canada, the people that give the northern part of your country mutlagas, not really all the way down south. Who are we? Next obvious.
Rabbie, thank you. The way that we handle the topic right now, we handle it with such care. I honor you and thank you very much for that. And I hope the Ebonites learned both sides, on the stance and also what Trump and his administration is trying to do for a minority group here in South Africa. Maranaka, please enjoy your Wednesday.
Thank you so much. Ebonites, please do the same yourself. Rabbie wrote.
Rabbie wrote. Sharp to me.
Sharp. Maverick, re defenditse dilo tsa di interview mo. Ona le ba batlang o hlahella ke tsere ntwe ere mang is inviting me to be a guest jwang. Wena o invite na jwang ke be guest le nna ke ntseng live. I get it to Africa. You will bear with me. But I want to thank everyone who has joined. I was not able obviously to ntongena when I'm Africa to interact lwena. I get tamele ke nke di notes ke ntse ke le ko ntongena ke ntse ke bua le ena Prince Liko ko Urban Edge radio, but it's not just radio. Urban Edge when I'm Africa is a new online radio that is really focusing go ntongena urban living. Wabona ba urban babua taba tsa boma You can just imagine Spojweng, this Habapong, Kapa, Unahane Joburg made, hey, Mara Joburg, Africa these days, yeah, corner. I don't know if you've been to Joburg when I'm Africa. Yeah. The place is not looking how sharp, man.